Hello, hello, and welcome back to Games My Guy podcast, the esports podcast by fans for fans. My name is Patrick Aches Avery Kenny, and joined, as always, is the feeling like a duck goose Ethan Butler. How you doing, my man?
I am tremendous. I'm ready. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling good. Yeah,
Fired
feeling good.
up?
Feeling it. I'm ready. It's been too long without some Overwatch. I'm ready.
It's true. Overwatch League is back, and we are jumping right into it with the qualifiers for the tournament that's coming up. Toronto Defiant have two pretty major games that they're going to be facing. One is an old friend, an old rival, the Maple Bowl, or whatever. What did we call the last time the Vancouver Titans fought?
We tried to call it the Maple matchup.
The Maple matchup,
but
yes.
It did not catch on.
Not even a little bit. It didn't even trend on Twitter.
Like, how could it not? Like, I don't know where. Well, I don't know why. It's such a catchy term.
I think so too.
Melee got trending.
You sound like you're taking it a little personal.
I'm not mad about it. I came up with multiple different names. None were liked by the community. I'm not mad.
Ethan, you said you were going to be okay for this episode today.
I lied. Sorry.
That's funny. No. But
sort of going off the handle there.
No, you know what? Speak your truth, man. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. But the matchups are going to be pretty interesting. I mean, we were talking a little bit about how this tournament is kind of a different road for Toronto. It's definitely going to be very, very difficult. I guess we can just start off with talking about the Vancouver Titans game that's coming up. And I mean, with Numlock signed, does he play in this game?
I am very curious to see if he does. Yes, because I want to say he will, because I don't. But of course, Beast has been their only tank, so of course he's been their go-to guy.
Yeah.
But they seem to have. There's a reason they brought on Numlocked, and I think I can't say he's more experienced because him and Beast have both been playing for a long time. Like Beast played with Fusion University, like Numlocked was on the Valiant in season 1 type of deal.
Yeah,
they're both, but Numlocked's kind of been doing pretty well for himself in ever since the Valiant. He played really well for Envy, British Hurricane, Montreal Rebellion when they were a thing, which was fun. They had great jerseys.
Yeah, he's had a pretty long career. I was watching some of his highlights last night just to familiarize myself. He's been around. He has like a bunch of like God tier tank montage videos on YouTube.
Hell yeah, brother!
So I mean he's made a name for himself. It also looks like he has a little bit of a Team Fortress 2 background, which was all the rage in season 1, trying to get players who had Team Fortress 2 backgrounds. But Numlock has sticked around.
Yeah, like even the most legendary of Overwatch players, I think his name's Joshua Sideshow Wilkinson, like a Team Fortress 2 god.
Yes,
of course. He's a number 1 in the Overwatch League now, but like coming from Team Fortress 2, he has that background.
Yeah,
and so Numlock has it as well. But Numlock also seems to. I don't know if this is something I'm just projecting onto him. But every time I've seen him maybe interviewed or watched him play, he comes across as more of a strong leader, I think. I don't know if that's 100% true. Perhaps I'm making it up. Maybe I'm just speculating. Of course I am, but I don't know. I think I want to believe that, and that's probably something. That's one of the qualities they wanted to bring into the main tank position. Because I know Beast has been doing some of the calling, maybe until Cruz got there. Because I can't really see Cruz taking a back seat in shot calling.
Yeah.
Just from what I'm thinking of Cruz, I don't see him just being quiet.
Yeah. And
Cruz is not quiet boy.
Yeah, and you don't pick up a player like Cruz if you're not also picking him up for the communication aspect of his game. Mm-hmm. He's very comfortable being a vocal leader. And I agree with you. I think he's going to fit somewhere in the communication hierarchy, somewhere, either second or first for shot calling, but we'll see. I think you're right. I think Numlock was picked up for a reason, and I think that he's going to be playing probably for at least these next 2 weeks. But there's a chance that they don't. But, I mean, the Vancouver Titans game is you know, last time Toronto and Vancouver fought, we were like, I don't know. It could go this way. It could go that way.
We had our hopes. We thought we
Yeah.
went into that game going, you know what? Toronto should win this game like 3-1. Maybe.
Yes, maybe.
But
maybe.
we didn't. But we always ended it with a but, and we were right to use that but. Because like
the butt's important.
The butt is huge.
It's
Toronto.
A huge butt.
It's like raucous. No disrespect, that man. I really enjoy him as a player and a human being, but that's just my reference for awesome butts.
Yes, it is a meme.
So it's yes, and I don't mean to be disrespectful. I love it, and so I just stopped talking about Roger's butt on this podcast. It's come up at least 4 different times, 3 different episodes.
Yeah,
but okay. That aside, there is a large butt anytime Toronto plays, and so I swear we're adults, but yes. Sometimes we're also not.
We bring it out of each other.
It's true. Well, it's just ones you get going, I did don't do.
Yeah.
But no, with Toronto, they should have won that game maybe a bit more handedly. I know Sherford was taking a break, and Agilities was sick, so they had a new player in, so that probably caused a bit of synergy issues. But we can't have that excuse now. I'm hoping to see Sherford play. I'm hoping that if they did bring on Numlot, like we said, for a reason, Numlot and Cruz can help give a more concrete leadership to the team. They sometimes do look a bit aimless, and that's like a bit undecisive. And that's something, even with the little sample we've had with Cruz, I've seen improvements.
Yeah, it at least looks like a direction rather than just people trying to outplay the other team. Like there looks like there's a goal, or at least there's some sort of cohesion. But there always just seem to come short, especially once we were playing against bigger teams like the Atlanta Reign, which is another huge threat that they have to face to qualify.
In the second week of the qualifiers, they do indeed play
the Atlanta Reign,
the Chads of the Overwatch League.
the kid wonders.
Sometimes not even the gameplay is just personality-wise. You cannot deny though. Atlanta Reign are like no other team fits the definition of Chad than the Overwatch League's Atlanta Reign.
It's true.
Like everything they do, the way they dress, the way they talk, like everything is just such a Chad move with those guys. I love it.
And they've had 2 3-0 games against the Toronto Defiant. We have not taken a single map off of them the last 2 times we've faced them.
2020 has not been kind.
It's not been kind between Atlanta Reign and Toronto Defiant. So, I mean, that is a game I assume we lose, barring some masterful heroic plays. But all points, all questions direct towards Atlanta Reign beating the Toronto Defiant. It sucks.
You don't want to say it.
No.
It's kind of like that Simpsons quote. Like, you shouldn't say it, but it's true, but you shouldn't say it.
We were talking a little bit before the podcast just about how Atlanta Reign is kind of like the benchmark for what Toronto needs to beat in order to stop losing and like get through and start taking maps off of higher on the totem pole teams in the Overwatch League. I just think Atlanta is like that team that we need to beat. It's our Boston to our Maple Leafs kind of situation.
Yes. But they need that win for confidence as well. I think there's a lack of confidence at times in Toronto. The players, each player on this team has had success on one level or another, I would say.
Yeah.
Like Beast with Fusion University, some might say he was carried, but I think you can't deny he was still a good main tank for that team.
Someone had to play main tank for that team,
exactly.
And it was Beast. And he fit in with the team. I don't think you can take much off of him.
You can't. And Beast Halo as he was at the time, which I think is a better name. But
I think so too.
I don't want to call him out, but when he's changed his name to Beast, I was like, why? Yeah. There has to be a reason. But either way, Beast has been good. Nevitz has long been considered, even when he wasn't playing, people were like, yo, Nevitz is like top 5 main off-tank in the league. Even when he was not playing at all, everyone was like, yo, Nevitz is like the best. And so then you've got players like, Surefour's always been really good. Logit's has been like the best player on the worst teams his entire career, it seems.
Yeah.
Maybe not in contenders as much, but more in Overwatch League. And then you have agility's he's always been like hit or miss, but when he hits hard. It's just the hits are coming less and less frequent.
Yeah,
but that's an issue.
It's getting hard to, especially when like the samples of the samples of the games that we've been playing are like kind of few and far between. It's tough to like take a really hard look at Toronto and be like, yeah, this is like a really, really like high caliber team. They have high caliber pieces. Mm-hmm. Every person on that team has been a part of a winning organization one way or another, whether it's through World Cup, whether it's through contenders, whether it's through Overwatch League. Like with Kriv with the Atlanta, with the Valiant. Sorry, with the Valiant. I'm talking about Atlanta so much. I've been thinking about them.
Some
all
Atlanta
day.
fans would like to have Kriv.
Yeah,
I love Dogman, but I know some Atlanta fans would like to have. I mean, who wouldn't want Kriv?
Yeah,
everyone should have one.
Everyone should have a Kriv at home.
He's a sweet boy.
Yeah,
that's really it. That's it.
Yeah, but we have the pieces, but we don't have the winning culture. And there's only so long that Toronto as an organization can be okay with being like, oh, we were really good, like and our team is supposed to be very good, but we're just not very good right now. We're very solidly in the middle of the pack to low of the pack now.
Mm-hmm. They've looked weak recently, and a lot of people have been ranking them in the bottom 3. Like I've seen rankings recently where I've seen the bottom 3 have been like Washington, Vancouver, and Toronto, with Boston squeaking into that like 17th slot or 16th slot. It's
You've
great.
made it. You've ascended out of the dumpster tier.
It's beautiful time to be not always to be an Uprising fan, but you take the what little good you can get.
Yeah, you take exactly. Yeah,
but the thing is, like Toronto, like I said, should be higher. They like you said, they don't have that winning culture in the team. They were good in stage 1 of 2019, but in that stage they also had a super easy schedule. They had players who were doing very well, like Stellar and whatnot, and Ivy.
Yeah,
and such. I remember you back in the L.
That was my
your
team.
Sweet boy.
That was my
prince.
team. Yeah, I still love watching Ivy play. I think he's so great. Smart. He's such like a control DPS. Like he's so focused on like positioning and like making crossfires. Like he's just very like his brain works the same way mine does. Like I just love it. I love it. I'm not as good as him. I'm not.
Well, we don't want to say that. I haven't seen you guys 1v1 yet. On like, I know your Hanzo's cracked, even though you're a main tank main, but it's fine. You're like Bumper.
Yeah.
You pull up the Hanzo every now and again. And does it work? Yeah, it's fun. It's entertaining.
If anyone's wondering how good I am at Reinhardt, just look up a Bumper montage, and that's pretty much what I am.
And that's 8 in general. That if you want, if you to relate any Overwatch League player to Avery Kenny over here.
Yes.
It's Bumper. The sweet, cheeky former prince of the Overwatch League.
Oh, that man.
But
yeah. These are two different, like the Vancouver Titans and the Toronto Defiant, they're coming in with very, very different teams. Like Vancouver is another team that, I mean, the organization is going through a lot right now, and it's had a very, very negative effect on the team culture and the players.
They've had very questionable move. Like the fans are rallying around the players, less the organization.
Like, exactly.
The fans are very angry at the way the organization handled things, but they do not in any way take that out on the current players on the Vancouver Titans. They want those players to do well.
Yeah.
It's just they're put in a situation where they're thrown to the wolves. They were half a team essentially, because the other players were just picked up from various different sources. Yeah. Now, though, they've had a lot of these 2 weeks should be a gift to the Vancouver Titans. Like they actually got their players' jerseys. It's a small thing, so maybe we'll get a nice photo of Suna, who doesn't look creepy anymore, and his head looks right.
Yeah, he's not cropped onto like Bumper's shoulders.
It doesn't make like you see the Photoshop for other teams, and then you look at that and you're like, what's going on? But I think the team, they're going through a lot, and I think the team wants to do well, and I really support the team. And I think the players and coaches are great people. That being said, they might have a chance at this. To be honest, I am not saying this Toronto versus Vancouver game is going to be an easy 3-0 at all, or even an easy 3-2.
Yeah.
I think it could possibly be a 3-2, but it's a coin flip.
Yeah.
Because if Shredlock can level up, that dude literally I think he just got top 10 on the leaderboard or something like that and ranked. He's been killing it. Obviously, ranked is different, but he's doing very well. He's had time to work with KSA. All the players have now had time to work together.
Yeah.
And I think they're starting to show the synergy.
Yeah. And
now,
for sure, it really depends on what Vancouver Titans does to prepare. Because traditionally, I mean, Toronto Defiant, when given time to prepare, have not done super well against their, like, the way they prepare for games it's been interesting. You see examples like that out of like the last Vancouver game, even though they didn't have all their pieces with them. That's a game you were waiting for. That's a game that you knew you had to win, and eking out with a 3-2 just because Korea's got a double kill it's tough. It's tough for a management to look at that and be like, yeah, we did really well. So
no, you can't look at that game and think, well, you can be proud you got the victory in the end. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to take that away. Like, you got the victory in the end. That's awesome.
Great.
And you got into the tournament where you were swiftly handled by, I think it was the Atlanta Reign, wasn't it?
It was Atlanta Reign. Yeah, it was a 3-0. It was a 3-0.
That's the one you were talking about. Yeah. They were swiftly handled.
Yeah.
Atlanta was just rolled up. You know, Baby Bay just got gunned doing whatever, you know, what he likes to do. And then he just did one of them, like a nice sweep of him, sweeping the dust off the shoulders, which is the Toronto Defiant.
Yeah.
They need to go into, especially the Atlanta and the Dallas game as well in the third week, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Knowing that this is a big challenge and knowing that you can't just willy-nilly throw things around. You need to also, like you said, I think you said as well, play to your strengths. Be willing to also change. And if you're playing the meta and it's not working, switch to your strengths. Just go for your strengths. Just give it a go, because if it's clearly not working, all you're doing is hurting your mental as well.
Yeah. And, I mean, we'll see how the bans will affect that game against Fuel. But, I mean, it's going to be we're going to be back on the schedule where we're going to have hero pools. Toronto, I mean, like the entire organization, like the entire Overwatch League had to deal with no hero pools at all. And so teams were able to like find the double shield meta and like work with that, and there were really no restrictions. And now Toronto has a big issue where they're going to have to adapt to hero pools now.
And in addition, the hero pools, like we said, affect them a bit. Like, because it takes away the Echo from Toronto. It takes away Sombra, which they've had played. They had success with Sombra in the past. Just sure for a top tier Sombra. Also, quite interesting tip is that it takes away Diva, and which is the hero Nevitz seems to play the most, I would say. So what happens to Nevitz when they take away Diva? Like, he's been shown to be a competent Sigma. He can play the Zarya. Would Toronto, say if they're playing Numlocked and they want to run the Rhine and do a rush comp, Nevitz and Numlock will have to work together with that Rhine Zarya.
Yeah.
And that's going to be interesting to see how that works out.
Yeah, I mean, as long as May and Reaper don't get banned, I think we'll see them be played if it's going to be Rhine Zarya comps.
It is, because the 2-week bans, it's now 2 weeks. And so we have,
yes, that's right.
We have Echo. The bans are for the first 2 weeks of the qualifiers: Echo, Sombra, Diva, and Brigitte.
Okay.
And so you're going to see, like, without Braid as well, is something I'm actually curious to see how much Genji might be played. He's not been played like at all. But you just eliminated a few of his big counters.
Yeah.
Like, Braid's a big counter to Genji. Sombra can be used as a great counter to Genji as well.
Totally.
Echo even as well can shut down Genji pretty quick with some stickies if you can get them on him.
Yeah.
So what happens now? Or even with Devo, even the Shurikens. Mm-hmm. How, and you have a good Genji player with it, and in agilities, do you want to just commit to a full dive like without Diva though? Like, how do you? You can still run it with a Zarya, I guess. Just use the bubbles. But
they're like way back when there was like a Korean tenders. Oh my goodness, Korean contenders. I like it. Korean contenders. They ran a Winston Zarya Doomfist comp.
Well, there you go.
So I mean, it's been done before. Will they do it? I don't know. I think it's going to be May Reaper. I think it's just going to be Ryan Zarya, May Reaper, Lucio, Anna, I guess.
And like because you're probably going to see Arisa Sig.
Yeah.
I would love to see some Arisa Roadhog. It's not gonna happen, but I really like last year in Stage 4 was one of my favorites. I just love seeing some random hogs pop off. It was awesome.
Yeah.
For me personally, I just love seeing the hooks come out of nowhere, and not like I play some support sometimes, so I don't like seeing that.
Right.
From the other side, but as a viewer, I love it. It's like with Genji. I don't like playing against the Genji, but I love watching a Genji.
Totally.
And so I'd love to see more of these heroes. Will it happen? Maybe not. But it'd be interesting to see because I've seen some success in Korean contenders, like we talked about, where they've been running the Genji. Element Mist has been running the Genji. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I've seen some actual success in 2020 with Genji.
In 2020.
In the 2020 year of our Lord Jeff Kaplan, we've seen some Genji play. And it could happen.
You're right. Like anything really could happen with that. And with Toronto, if they keep Beastin and they want to... If Numlocked is like a passion project for Toronto Defiant where they're going to work him into the team later and they just run the dive this run, like keep Beastin, Genji will be played, like for sure.
I'd love to see some very, like, if it's even map by map adaptation with this team. Like say if they're running dive on like Hollywood, maybe if you want, I don't know, something with a lot of high ground.
Yeah, that would be a great thing.
For point B and point A. Yeah. But you can run that, but say then you switch to maybe Kings Row has high ground as well. But say if you want to run a Rhine comp, you fuck it, put in Numlock, just switch them out look at the San Francisco Shock. They find a lot of success by allowing their main tanks to specialize on the heroes they're the best at.
Yes,
they're so good because Super is probably the best Reinhardt on the team. Yeah. And what do? You let him play Reinhardt pretty much exclusively. I mean, I've seen Super play all the heroes at a high level, but if you want to run the specialized, that you have the players to do it.
Yeah, and you're purchasing these players for that reason. Like back in the day, Super was purchased because he was just a good main tank. But now they realize that if you specialize a player and you let them focus on their skills and what they do really well, you can just use them whenever you want, intermittently between games. So I totally agree. I think specialization is where, especially with hero pools, like you'll have players that don't do well on certain hero pools. Specialization in organizations is exactly what's probably going to happen. And then you see like a great team like the Shock do that with one of like the most winningest players in Overwatch League. Mm-hmm. So I mean, or a grand champion if I need to put it that way.
Grand champion, gold medalist.
Didn't he go on?
Talking about Super.
What did they go? They went on the Late Show, right, with Jimmy Fallon.
Oh no, they went on the Tonight Show.
Tonight Show. Pardon me.
It was Super and Sinatra. I was so excited for that. That was great.
Yeah, that was fun.
They got to hoist the trophy. And Super was just being Super.
Yeah, they were in like business casual but very business wear.
The best part about that was I remember I think Space and a couple other guys took them shopping. Like Space helped them to Space, you know, he's cool. Space and like Baby Bay or something like that. It was Space and Baby Bay went out shopping with Super and like Sinatra and shit, and they just got them like these, like we're going out to the club outfits, and these wee boys.
Oh my goodness,
it was great. But I think that's that type of system. Honestly, any team, if you're struggling and trying to figure out a type of system to work into your team, look to teams like the Shock. Try and figure out what are they doing and how is it working. And obviously, you need a good coach. Like Krusty's one of the best coaches in the league, if not the best. Yeah. So that's a major factor missing. But you can at least attempt to emulate that system, like how they have. They have a strong main support in Moth. Like no one's taken out Moth. He's probably arguably the best in the game. To me, Moth is my number one main support. And so it's a big deal.
You're incorrect.
No,
but that's fine.
I am right,
that's
sir.
I will
die on this hill.
It's fine.
I know who you want to say.
It's so fine.
I know FDGod. I know he's around.
It's so fine that you're wrong, but that's cool. You're allowed to have your opinion.
I love him. No, it's me, Ma. But no. Yeah. No, he's great. And so you need to have that system in place.
It's true. I think
Toronto could do it. Like you just need to find your system, and especially and play it out per game. Because against the Vancouver Titans, in order to win that game, if you're just going off all the information we can go off, I don't know scrims, we don't know anything like that. So all the information we have is their last game.
Yeah, is
If
their
you want to win
results.
against, yeah, so if you want to win against the Vancouver Titans, barring all improvements to their synergy that they probably have made,
yeah,
shut down Shockwave and Dalton. I'd say that's your best bet. If you can eliminate the threat of Shockwave and Dalton, I think you have a better chance of winning.
Yeah. And I don't think the Titans' game plan is really going to change. I think it's going to just be enable Shockwave, and that's really easily counterable. Very, very. And
it's amazing to say that after his one game in the Overwatch League, that our entire system with Vancouver winning is shut down that one guy. Like, I think they're actually great players. Like KSA's actually looked really good, and he's on like 300 ping. And so like if that man's ever when he gets here. Oh, yeah, he's good. That guy's good at this video game.
Well, who's the guy in Naruto who gets the clamps off his feet? Is that Rock Lee? He's the Rock Lee of the Overwatch League, I guess.
So many teams have used that GIF, just passed it in the logo onto that guy's face, and just. But yeah, so yeah, you shut down players like Shockwave and like Dalton TSA. Yeah.
There's a lot of like lower tier teams where that is the win condition for the other team. Like you have Boston Uprising where it's like we just got to dismantle Jerry and whatever Boston is trying to plan, and it's the same with Toronto. Like if you can stop Logix or if you win the main tank battle, that's usually a good win condition for you. But Toronto finds ways to beat itself sometimes.
It's weird. Yeah, they have an issue with I think you said the only reason. I think I put it the reason Vancouver didn't lose, but Toronto barely won type of deal. Like Toronto didn't win, Kareev did.
Yes.
Essentially.
Yeah.
And so that's with the Titans. Whereas with the Atlanta Reign, honestly with the Atlanta Reign, it's a tricky story because with Diva Band, they are 100% going to run Arisa Sigma as much as they possibly can.
Absolutely.
Because that's like Gator's insane. It's hard to say this about Arisa's, but like Gator is really good at Arisa.
Yeah,
and his halts are perfectly timed, and he works well with Hawk or even Fried. And so you need to be prepared for them to run that, but also you need to be ready for maybe they play Urster for once. He's been gone, but Baby Bay is their hit scan guy, even though they also have Sharp. Yeah. But they're going to play Baby Bay and probably Edison. So you know essentially what they land range to run.
Yeah, it's going to be long range DPS with double shields, probably.
And with Braid Band, you're not going to see Kodak. I would think. I think you're going to see Masa and Dogman.
Interesting.
Because the last time that Kodak was really in, it was because they were playing more Zen Baptiste.
Right.
And so, but with Lucio available, they're going to probably play Massa.
Yeah. I think
he's good at the heroes.
Yeah. I think the only advantages I would say Toronto has coming into Atlanta Reign is on the control maps when it's more meta to play the Rhine Zarya. And so you'll be having probably a mirror match between Toronto and the Atlanta Reign. So, I mean, I think I favor Toronto in a mirror matchup if it's Rhine Zarya. But I think outside of control maps, like if we're talking hybrids and escort maps, it's going to be double shields the whole time. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be we're a huge underdog going into that game.
Especially if May is being played. And again, is Zix still here? Does he play the May over agility? So putting him in does give you maybe even then is a kind of a better May, but we only have one game where like May wasn't played a lot to really go off of. Like all I know is people talking about his May from his time with I believe Third Impact, and so I would play agilities to be quite honest. I honestly am a little biased. I just like agilities.
Yeah, well that's the big thing, right? Like there's players on Toronto that we love. They're like just great stories about players that we've been watching since season 1. And some of them are Canadian, which is important just for the identity of the Toronto Defiant.
It's that they've based their whole identity. Like, that's why we talked about last
a Canadian team.
Worried about Surefour is because their big thing this season, like the reason Like in season 1, even when they were good, no one really cared
Yeah.
because they were like
Yeah.
they didn't do a good job to make an identity for that team. So they once they even started signing players like Magnitude, and now when they got Brella and Jillies and Surefour, they were like, no, you know who we are? We are Canada's team. We are the Canadian team in Overwatch.
Yeah.
We are proud of that. This is who we are. Come support us.
Yeah.
And so we want those players to succeed. Like we've had, and they're so likable. Like Surefour is immensely likable. He's funny. He backs it up by being good at the game. He's also insanely flexible. So honestly, I would just I've said play agilities if you want to go that route, but honestly, your best shot at victory has to be Surefour and Logics. That just gives you the most options. Like if you want to, maybe if you're gonna play Farah or something like that, you would play agilities. But like, come on, like Surefour can play. He can play the May. He showed it in the game he was subbed in accidentally. He played a drawn May. He can play. He like the Jeff Kaplan when he was designing when they were talking about Echo when Echo was first released, he said this is going to be really great for players like Surefour, who are so flexible.
Yeah.
You can do so many options. You want Hanzo? Surefour's got great Hanzo. He single-handedly kept the LA Valiant out of the playoffs last year,
Yeah.
and so you can do so much with Surefour and Lodges. I think that's your best bet, especially against a dynamic duo of Baby Bay and Edison, even who are really good individual players. So you need people who can go toe to toe with that. I think Lodges can go toe to toe with Baby Bay. You need someone who can go toe to toe with Edison. Is more
Yeah.
the problem.
Yeah, and it's going to be more about who is better on the day for that.
Yeah.
Like Logic's, you're right. He can go toe to toe, but he is also a very streaky DPS player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's something that we have to take into account, and it's something that is a part of like how Toronto wins or loses. So
yeah.
it'll be
die
interesting.
By the Logics.
Live by the Logics, die by the Logics.
That's another thing that brings us when we talked about. We'll just touch on Dallas as well in the third quarter, and we talked about shutting need 100% needing to shut down a DPS lineup. If you give Decay any room, he will win the game.
Yeah,
that man poos on teams. He poos on them, Patrick.
Yeah,
he poos, Patrick.
He poos, Pat.
He poos.
Yeah,
in a good way.
Yeah, it's Dallas Fuel has definitely upped their game. They've definitely entered into the echelon of being a mid to high tier team.
They have the chance.
And it's all because of Decay. And what that DPS lineup can do. So going into that game, we gotta find something. It's gonna be we're gonna see what kind of team is gonna show up to the Fuel game after the Atlanta Reign game. If we get 3-0'd by Atlanta Reign, that's probably
will not be in a good place.
Yeah, if we lose both to the Titans and to the Atlanta Reign, I really it's gonna be a tough match against the Fuel. But if we beat Vancouver and we have like a competitive game against Atlanta, that would be amazing. And I think we go into the Fuel game knowing that there's something that they can do. Like they have win conditions.
Yeah, we talk about Decay as much too, but even if you can handle Decay, you still have to worry about Doha.
Yeah,
Doha even without the Echo, you didn't handle. Actually, hero bands have kind of screwed Dallas a bit. You took away two of Doha's most notable heroes. It's now, well, maybe not most notable, but like, he was really known for being a strong Sombra player when he was on Element Mystic. Like, he was one of the best. The Hatfist combo with him and Sparkle was one of the reasons they were able to win the Gauntlet.
Mm-hmm.
And so taking away Sombra hurts Doha a bit, but he's been playing the Echo, so you take away Echo as well. Now Doha's probably on heroes like May as well. So you need to be, if you shut down the K, you still have to worry about Doha.
Yeah.
You shut down those two. Gamsu and Note have been Gamsu's always been like a pretty high level. He's Gamsu. I'm not worried about him in the slightest.
Yeah.
Note had a bit of a slower season last year, but he's looked a lot better this year. He's been delivering.
Yep.
So obviously the main threat with Dallas is 100% Doha and Decay.
Totally.
But you can't forget about the other team.
Yeah.
The rest of the team.
Well,
you need to take them seriously.
100%.
Show them the respect they deserve.
If we're seeing Ryan Zarya and they're gonna mirror that, I would take Fuel over how Toronto has been playing.
Gamsu has leveled up his Reinhardt. It's true.
Yeah.
If you're telling me that he wasn't known for Reinhardt a lot, but he's shown even this year shattered. He's got Sitzman shattered into the spawn of the LA Valiant.
Yeah.
Keeping them there.
Yeah.
And that was insane. And so like Domsu's looked really good. So like I think it's hard to say who the biggest threat to Toronto getting into the May tournament is. Sorry, what are we talking about? The Summer Showdown.
Yeah, no, the June Jubilee.
Thank you.
We should keep it for what we call it.
The June Jubilee. Whoever's listening, it's the June Jubilee.
Yeah, not the Summer Showdown.
Even though the tournament technically is in August, we're calling it the June Jubilee. It's super confusing.
Yeah. I think we're.
It's more fun to say.
Yeah, I think we're being more confusing than helping at this point by calling it the
June Jubilee.
Okay, Summer Showdown. Summer
Showdown.
Yeah,
but we're better. To Overwatch League, we're better. But no, I objectively speaking, from a on paper, player by player basis, I don't know if it's a hot take to say Atlanta overall is their toughest challenge. Just as you said, with the record going against them factoring as well. If you're going by most potential to single-handedly kill the Toronto Defiant, the Dallas Fuel would be your biggest challenge because of decay.
Yeah.
And I don't know how, but also like I'm not counting Vancouver. I'm not objectively saying they're the biggest threat, but I'm not counting. I don't think they're the biggest threat. And I love this team. I really want them to succeed, and I think they could get there. Would they be here yet? Maybe. I'm looking forward to finding out.
Yeah, Toronto. Like the Vancouver game is a game we can lose pretty easily. So it's I don't think it's a hot take to say that Atlanta Raiden's our biggest challenge just because that's a team that has beaten us to the ground. they have taken us to school. They have taught us algebra. They gave us a book report to do on
we did not read the book.
Yeah, we didn't read the book. We didn't graduate.
We watched the movie, and it was. I think it was missing some plot points.
Yeah, so Atlanta Reign is going to be very, very tough.
Yeah, they know how to play against us. They know how to play against the way Toronto. They know what Toronto wants to do, and they know how to beat it.
Yeah,
maybe Numlocked will throw a wrench into that system because they've not played a Toronto Defiant with Numlocked. That's all saying Numlocked plays it all. We don't know.
Yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's a 50-50 bet.
Yeah. So.
What are the odds? About 50-50.
After all that, we're just like, I don't know. We don't know.
We've gone into it. What do you guys think? Could they win all 3 games? They have the talent. Will they? We've talked about butts before.
Yeah,
We're bringing it back.
Yeah.
The butt, they need to get out of their own way and just have fun with the game, play it, freak it out a bit, just go wild and have a good time. Like, we've said so much, and I don't know what more to say really sometimes. Like we've said this the amount of times we've talked about, but they could do this, but is high.
Yeah. Well, it's a team that we are unsure about, and it's a team that everyone has said on paper is a very, very good team, has not been a very, very good team. But that just means that whatever we're doing in the process of getting ready for games, something needs to be changed. But we don't know.
They've had some struggles, admittedly. I know I don't want to interrupt you, but I just know I'll just say one thing before I interrupt you. Well, I don't
go
want to
for
interrupt
it, man.
you. But keep in mind this year alone, they've had a player retire. They've had a coach leave to retire. They've had their general manager retire. And so they've hit some walls. I don't know who's running the team right now. We know who's the interim head coach, but so they've had some things working against them. But that being said, we sometimes go with tough love here on James, my guy. But
we're big believers on tough love, especially when we play.
Yeah, without question. We love them. We they're like our children's, and we just want them to succeed. And we believe they can, sweetie. We know you can. We love you, and we just want you to do well.
100%. They're a Toronto team. They will be scrutinized, but they will equally be beloved. So that's just how Toronto sports go.
You can't avoid it.
Exactly.
And I want Vancouver to do well as well. To be clear, I want Canadian Overwatch to succeed. It just seems like every country has some success in Overwatch, and Canada, we want some too. All right, like we're not a perfect country by far, but we have some nice Overwatch boys.
Yeah, yeah,
and girls. So
exactly.
we'd like to show the ladies and lads of the Canadian Overwatch. We'd like to see some success.
And I'm sure it's coming, but I guess, just like all the other audience members, we'll just have to wait and see what happens with those 3 games. I know I'll be watching them, and I know you'll be watching them as well.
I will.
Yeah. But that was our episode for this week. I guess we will leave it up in the air. Do you have any like predictions that you're feeling for the Toronto games? Any like hard numbers that have been floating in your head?
I want to give Toronto, Vancouver to go either way, but I'll probably give Toronto 3-2. Atlanta, this is all like I hope they win, but I also am just going off the information we have now.
Yeah,
is I'm gonna give it to Atlanta 3-1. I think Toronto could take a map and has a potential to take it, but say Atlanta's also been learning from their mistakes recently. I don't want to play against an Atlanta team that's learned from their mistakes. Yeah. Essentially, like that's a scary team. If Atlanta didn't live up to their full potential, they were ranked like top 3 going into the season. They've not lived up to it. If they finally do, I'm scared of that team. I fear them.
I don't want to know that.
Like
team.
It. Yeah. I don't want it, even though I have the jersey I'm looking at right now of Atlanta. And with Dallas though, I think I'm gonna give Dallas 3-1 as well. I think Dallas could take it.
Yeah.
Their best bet at victory and to get into the tournament, maybe without playing a qualifier match, without having to do a knockout round again, is they have to beat at least Vancouver.
Yeah.
Because if they don't, they have a very real chance of going 3-0-3 and maybe not making the tournament at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's exactly right. Like they need to just take it a game at a time. They know that they're the underdogs for all 3 of these games. So it's gonna be an uphill battle, but they just need to take it one game at a time. I think
rise together.
Yeah, I think we beat Vancouver. I agree with the 3-2 win. It's gonna be really tough, but I think it goes to game 5 for sure.
Yeah, sorry. What are your predictions as well? I need to contribute an app as well.
Yeah, well, it's a 3-2 for Toronto for me. I think it's a 3-0 for Atlanta. Just the track record alone, you can't ignore. The last 2 times they've played Atlanta Reign, it's been 3-0s. Can't argue with facts. So no. I think it's going to be a 3-0 against Atlanta, unfortunately, but we'll see what kind of shenanigans happen in that game. Maybe we take a map. Maybe something happens. Who knows? The Fuel game, I think, is going to be very influenced by the outcomes of the 2 previous games. Fuel is not the team they're going to be preparing for. They're going to be preparing for the Atlanta Reign game because they know they have to win that game if they have any shot of doing anything past the qualifiers. They need to beat Atlanta Reign. So I think the Fuel game is going to be very dependent on the outcome. And if Toronto wins the Atlanta game or wins the Vancouver game, I think we're going to see a very different Toronto team. But if my predictions go the way I think they're going to go, I think it's going to be a 3-1 for the Fuel. I think we'll see.
It's tough to say that, but you need to. It's also, you don't want to be a realist, but
first, you need to know first things first. I'm the realist.
Exactly. I apologize. I should have remembered. It's my mind. I didn't think.
Yeah, sorry. It is. My camera's messing up, but it is the hottest I've ever been in my whole life.
Your camera's showing your accurate mental state in its heat.
Yeah, that's not blurry. It's actual heat haze just going through me.
On your face.
Yeah, but those are my predictions. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
What the big factor I'll just end it with is I think the biggest thing that like you said that I forgot to mention that we need to take into fact is how the biggest thing that will happen is how the Vancouver game goes. If they actually come in and stomp the Titans, like demolish them, their confidence level will be through the roof. They're going to be feeling really good, and they could have a real shot of winning the other 2 games.
For sure.
Because they've shown they can compete with top teams. They just can't seem to bring the victory home. But they can get they haven't had a dominant win pretty much all season.
Yeah, they need a stomp. They need an exclamation point on one of these games.
But if they lose that game or it goes to 3-2, their mental might not be in a great place going forward.
Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see in a couple of days.
It's very soon. Soon.
Yeah.
But the LCS is back this weekend. Overwatch is back. It's great.
Yeah, it's a big esport fun times coming up. So that'll be a good one. But yeah, that was our podcast episode for this week. If we are on Spotify, so you can follow us on Spotify if you're not already listening to us on Spotify currently. You can also email us at gamesmyguypodcast@gmail.com. We have a Twitter as well, which the lovely Ethan Butler has been curating and been growing very well. How many followers are we up to now?
I will check, but the last I checked, we were up to a nice, very respectable 33 followers.
A good round number, 33.
we would like more because we are vain, but that's fine. So that's who we are.
Yeah. So
we want to reach more people. We want to talk to more people.
Totally. Yeah, and that's at Games My Guy, and if I'm just gonna cut that there, but thank you so much for watching the podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.